On November 16th, 2019, I had my first ever open studio. It started with a vague idea of people and experiences and a pounding in my chest. It started with little fears that creep into your mind, the kinds of fears that make no sense. It evolved into a comfort, a plan, small goals taking shape. I made lists, arranged my studio and my art. I sent out the invites. But I never could have dreamed of what was to come next. I invited only a small portion of people I wanted to invite. And this is because parking at my abode is limited. My studio is part of my house. Each person that arrived vastly surprised my expectations, and the day was amazing. I got to be a part of something bigger than myself. Yeah, you might be saying to yourself right now, Macy, stop being so dramatic. It was only a small gathering. That's what some might say. But that's not what it was for me. I can't go into the minds of my guests and find what their deepest feelings were about the experience, but for me, it was magical. People hung out in groups and talked about the art some, but more importantly, they talked about philosophical and moral quandaries. There was also a sense of belonging throughout the space. It's like a portal in one of my paintings opened up. And we were in that world, a world of creatures who freely exchange ideas passionately, yet still making each other feel welcome. We may not all agree all the time, but that doesn't mean we can't value each other in many magical ways. As I painted, I eavesdropped on several conversations, and then I floated from space to space, like a butterfly to the flowers. I took breaks from painting to just exist in the moment, just to be. Everyone that came that day made the experience what it was, and I will never forget what a beautiful day it was. It was amazing. And I really couldn't have asked for more. And as I thought about this, I thought, we freak ourselves out a lot, don't we? We freak ourselves out in our heads. And we think that these things are too hard to do, especially as introverted people. We think, oh, I can't paint live. I can't paint live in front of people in person. I can't paint live on Twitch, on YouTube, on Instagram. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm too scared. I have this fear. I have this fear inside of me. But when you think about back when you were a little child and how you didn't really have that much fear at all, when you probably should have, to be honest, to an extent, but not having the fear was so nice, right? You just made stuff. You just created art. You just did the thing. You were just existing, being yourself, doing what you wanted to do. And you weren't really scared of how this person was going to think of you, how that person was going to think of you. And you weren't really fearful of the drama of life because you were a child and you hadn't experienced that yet. And there are really great things about gaining life experience, but one of the negatives is the fact that you're going to see negative experiences happen to people, whether it's other people or yourself. And this can kind of shape how your brain works, how your brain sees these interactions before they even happen. I am one of those people who overthinks everything way too much. And it's actually a good and bad thing. It can be a great tool to use when trying to problem solve or trying to strategize or trying to come up with solutions to problems. But it can be a very, very detrimental part when it comes to planning something like this, when it comes to social interactions, and when it comes to just existing and being yourself and trying to be unapologetic about who you are as a person. So I think this experience taught me that I can do this again. I can do this many, many times in the future. I don't have to be afraid of an event like this. Granted, this event was comprised of people who I am closest to, I will say. I didn't invite people who were acquaintances, really. There was only like one person that came that I didn't even know at all. But all of these steps that we take toward our goals is so important and helps us grow so much. And I really found that out that day. By the way, if you guys have been watching this video and you've heard the music in the background going in and out throughout this talk, the music is by my brother, and he goes under Trappist1 on Bandcamp, and he's amazing. He was also at this event, and he's an amazing musician and artist himself. And I don't know what I would do without him. He's awesome. And my mom, she's amazing too. I don't know what I would do without her either, and she was there as well. You could see her near the beginning of the video sticking her tongue out at the camera. She also did a little bit of camera work for me for this video. So did my friend Thomas. And I want to thank everyone that came, because everyone contributed something. Everyone contributed love and support and genuine caring and interest, and I just love that we could all feel comfortable in a space together and in such a creative environment full of other creative people and kind-hearted people. How can you not feel comfortable and welcome, and just how can it not feel inviting? I think that I learned a lot about what I want to do next time I have an open studio, next time I have any kind of event like this. But the funny thing is I thought that I would have some kind of thing that I would have done differently, and honestly, I wouldn't have done anything differently during this. I'm not saying that, I did an amazing job, I'm gonna pat myself on the back about this. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying, somehow this event went way, way better than I expected, and way beyond what I could have even thought was gonna happen. And it was so simple. It was so simple. So what I want to say as we're nearing the end of this video is, if you are an artist and you want to show your artwork to people, and you do have a small or a large, whatever, group of people that enjoy your work, why not have an open studio? Obviously, if it's at your house, you just want to invite people you trust. You don't want to invite people who you don't want to know where you live. You just want to invite maybe close friends and family, maybe a few acquaintances that It's like a friend of a friend kind of thing as well. But don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to have an event like this. It's so much fun. I mean, there's only a few things you really have to think about. You gotta feed the people. You gotta have some sort of food. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just finger foods, snacks, cookies, pie, crackers, bananas, something like that, and some water. Just try to think of people's food allergies, if they have any, and stuff like that into account, or dietary decisions and stuff like that. But other than that, if you've got food and stuff to drink, and you've got places to sit, you've got music, I had music on in the background. I made an open studio playlist just for my open studio, which Funny enough, I use that Open Studio playlist all the time now because it's so good. I even use it just for my Twitch streams now. But anyway, another thing to keep in mind is I made this a drop-in Open Studio. So what that means is it started in the morning, like, I don't know, 10, 11 in the morning, and I think it went from 11 in the morning to 7 p.m. So I was in the studio all day straight, only taking bathroom breaks, things like that. So just keep that in mind. I did an open studio when it was a drop-in, so people could come by any time between 11 and 7 and hang out. And it ended up, some people came in the morning and then some people came around lunch or just after lunch and hung out for a long time. And it was amazing and it was awesome. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye! So before I go, I just want to shout out my patrons. They're on the screen right now, and I just want to thank them so much for supporting me. They're always so super kind and sweet, and they help me out a lot. Thank you guys so much for being patrons.